every day struggle and think you might get attacked or something might happen to you just for being who you are.
Especially when I'm nervous and worried about professors misgendering me or using my legal name in the classroom.
And it kind of brought me to a place where I didn't want to speak up and I didn't want to be open anymore.
It's a big box to unpack.
I identify as gender fluid.
Queer or pansexual.
Queer trans man who is also Christian identified and white.
I identify as a dom or masculine of centered.
A trans male.
Pronouns are she, her, or kid, at which I made that up with 2 Ds.
I've chosen masculine for the time being. I'm trying it out.
Poly, pansexual, transsexual,
Gender fluid.
I prefer they, them, their pronouns.
I use he, him, his pronouns.
I am gender fluid.
I identify as a queer, genderqueer, or non-binary trans person.
Her, her, and hers, they, them, and theirs.
I'm genderqueer, pansexual.
It's pansexual, and I'm also a trans man.
A lesbian.
As a gay man.
And I am a non-binary trans woman of color.
FTM, so I do identify as male, but I am transgender. And then I am also asexual, probably aromantic on that scale. Preferred gender pronouns are a big thing.
We are constantly worrying about being outed in classrooms, in counselors' offices.
Our school isn't set up so that we have preferred names or preferred pronouns on a roster that a professor gets.
So what do you prefer to be called, or what if you're masculine centered presenting, do you identify as trans or lesbian? Do you have a preferred gender pronoun?
Getting your legal name changed is really hard or expensive to do, and it's really out of my budget. If someone who's trans doesn't email the professor beforehand and say, hey, I know this is what it says on your roster, but actually I prefer this. And so you're essentially coming out every semester.
Before I had my legal name change was that before all the classes I would end up emailing my professors and being like, can you call me this name? Can you use these pronouns?
And if you don't email them beforehand, you have a really awkward situation on your hands when they call roll.
Every day it's scary to just be in class not knowing what people are going to say.
When my professors don't notice that I have a preferred name listed in the university registry, it can be very anxiety-inducing to wonder, oh, what's going to happen on that first day of class when I'm outed? What are other students going to say? What is the teacher going to say?
People need to know that if they sign up for certain gym classes, that they will be able to go into the space. It's best for them, and they need a system where people can get preferred names on their ID cards and being able to go into a classroom the first day knowing that your birth name will not be spoken.
My school does not have a preferred name policy, so a lot of times I feel uncomfortable talking to teachers or other students, or even submitting assignments because it's not the name that I identify with.
And some of them respected that and some of them didn't. And the ones who didn't, I immediately just totally checked out of their classes and just sort of did the bare minimum to pass.
There have been classes that I've skipped intentionally because I don't feel safe going.
There have been times where I've offered, I guess, a sort of different perspective on, normal gender role ideas and, that kind of thing, and it was kind of met with big backlash.
Advisors sort of tried to make a safe space, but at the same time, I don't feel comfortable and supported to be myself in those situations. So sometimes when we're dealing with sensitive issues, I have kind of trouble.
A teacher misgendering me, like, oh, good morning, sir. Or, students passing me, what's up, man? Things of that nature. Before I came out as gender fluid, completely misgendered. But when I encompassed the gender fluid, it made it easier for me.
So I felt like I kind of like recoiled, and I couldn't thrive, or I couldn't be as successful in that environment as I wanted to be.
There are instances where I feel unsafe, mostly because they're unmonitored or it's just not very populated. And I feel that there is an easy chance for me to be targeted as a trans person.
If it's just a simple thing about using the women's bathroom.
One of our students is a trans female, and she actually was escorted out of one of our bathrooms by a security guard.
As soon as I walk in there, I get stares, and it's hard for me to stare off those stares and, counteract anything that they say or that they do.
So constantly at school, I am forced to think about the necessities of my own well-being versus thinking about my classroom and what I should be studying.
Anybody on the scale of fluidity with their gender, they need to be able to go into the bathroom that they're most comfortable with, and no one should be able to be harassed or removed by security.
I've lived in all women's dorms, and being the only guy in a women's dorm is kind of awkward.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to switch it on and off in a way that I can dress the way I want in safe places and then dress how I need to when I can't.
When I am trying to concentrate in class, but I'm trying to also map out how I can get to the restroom while being safe.
There should be family bathrooms for anyone to be able to use the bathroom. We're just going to the bathroom,
There's a lot that needs to go into my campus. A lot of more acceptance.
Housing has not made much progress. I've created an entire proposal.
Always feel uncomfortable in spaces where people start mentioning how they date and they have sex, not because they're being, prejudiced against me, but because it's something I don't understand.
The person that I was communicating with no longer works there, and they haven't filled the position, and they told me just to basically wait until they could fill the position.
I wish HBCUs were more open to supporting or having resources for LGBTQ folk.
Being in the Bible Belt is something that honestly affects me because I am a religious person, but I also support gay rights 100%.
During gender studies, they try to get some of us, me included, that are in part of the LGBTQIA community to sometimes even speak out and try to teach the other students. I feel that this is wrong. Why should we ask students to tell their personal experiences?
It's just ignorance, it's just a lack of information flowing because they don't have a resource center.
Once people leave, it's like as if we were never there. Once the advisors leave that actually direct our community, it dies out. Like nobody's there to pick it up and say, okay, let me just keep on going with this.
One where dialogue is encouraged for sure.
I love enthusiastic professors.
Whenever I'm at a place and I feel safe, I feel at home, I feel like I have no care in the world and I'm only there just for my education. And that's what the whole purpose of going to college is for, right?
Hands-on environment. 100% hands-on. It doesn't really matter who I'm with.
I love something that you have to really investigate and think about.
I love analytical and critical thinking, so once we can open up the floor, we can talk about it, everybody's free to discuss, and we bounce ideas off of each other. That's a great learning environment.
He makes me feel really comfortable about who I am as a person and what I identify as.
I definitely look forward to classes that are inclusive right off the bat. So if a professor goes out of their way to make sure to establish a safe space, to establish an inclusive space, I definitely will look forward to coming back every day and learning what I have to learn in that class.
A safe environment. I know that's cheesy as it sounds, but it's honestly a safe environment is somewhere that I feel excited to learn because I feel like I can actually put my full effort into learning.
An environment where everybody's just kind and loving and accepting.
I mean, when you're just open and you're like, yeah, we got this on the board and we're doing this today, like that brings me out. That makes me feel safe to be who I am.
One particular moment he was like, well, you have to wear a dress for speech day. I don't wear dresses, so we had to compromise and meet in the medium, and I got to wear a bow tie and slacks. And that's where I kind of got my big urge to speak out more vocally versus standing in the background.
Let people be who they are. Let people express how they want to express themselves, and most importantly, do not judge a book by its cover.
I live on campus. I'm actually living in the new gender inclusive learning community at Purdue. It's very small right now, but we're hoping to make it bigger. But I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be pretty awesome. An environment where I feel supported and where I feel like I can grow and be nurtured and be validated in all aspects of my identity. Allowing us to tell you who we are makes us feel safe as students. It makes us feel like we can learn in your classroom. It makes us feel like we can come to class.
Have a peek inside of the way the world works for us, and let them know that we are a part, and you know, we're not separate, we're here.
My name is Matt.
English.
Sean.
Kate.
Corinne.
Ms. Alicia. Morgan.
Eric.
Nate.
Marta.
Quentin.
Charlize.
Eddie.
Pat.
Ask me.
Ask me.
Ask me.
Or ask me.